back to my YouTube channel, and if you're new here, welcome. My name is Caitlin and I go by Katalin. So yeah. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you some books that I am recommending you read around Halloween time. So let's just hop right into the video. The first book I have for you guys today is Carrie by Stephen King, and I highly enjoyed this book. It gives me exactly Halloween vibes. It's about a girl named Carrie, and she gets bullied a lot in school, and her mom's really super religious, and she finds out she has this ability with telekinesis. So that was pretty cool. And the jocks, popular kids, whatever you want to call them, had come up with a prank to pull on her, and after they pull that prank, all hell breaks loose. So yeah, you should definitely read this for Halloween. The next book I have for you guys is The Twin by Natasha Preston, and this was so good. It just basically there's this girl, these two girls, they're twins, Ivy and Iris, and one is like the Parent Trap. One went with the mother, one went with the father, except the mother has an accident and tragically passes away, so the twin had to come and live with her other twin and her dad. And basically Ivy, which is the one that's been living with the dad, seems to notice that Iris had gone quiet, isn't really trying to be social, and then she was like, we're twins, it's fine, we share lives now, you can be friends with my friends. And Iris takes this seriously. It's almost like Iris is trying to take over Ivy's life. And yeah, there's a big plot twist at the end, so I would definitely pick this up if you're into mystery, creepy kind of vibes is what this was giving me. I'm pretty sure I've seen a movie like this one time. I don't remember though. I can't, it's on the tip of my tongue, tip of my mind. I don't know, maybe I did see a movie like this, but I definitely would recommend this as a Halloween read. The next book I have for you guys is Stalking Jack the Ripper by Kiri Maniscalco. I don't know how to say that last name. But basically this girl named Audrey Wadsworth, and she's a girl in the late 1800s. I think it was the late 1800s. Don't quote me on that. She's studying with her uncle to be I don't know what it's called, a pathologist, I want to say. Don't know. It's basically the person that works in a morgue that does determines the time of death, the manner of death, and so on and so forth. But basically there's a serial killer, Jack the Ripper, going around and killing these girls. They are servicing girls. But anyways, and there's this guy named, what's his name? Thomas. A guy named Thomas. And them two work together to figure out who Jack the Ripper is. And they were working with police. They aren't really detectives. These are just two kids learning how to be a pathologist or whatever it's called. But there's a big old plot twist. I thought I knew who Jack the Ripper was, but I didn't. I was really wrong. So, and this is the first book to a series, Stalking Jack the Ripper. The next book is what's it called? Hunting Prince Dracula. But it was very, very good. It's a murder mystery, serial killer. If you're into that stuff, I definitely recommend this for Halloween. Oh, and it has pictures in it. If I can find some for you. Oh, there was one. It has pictures in it. It's really cool. And I really liked this for my grandma, who always loved a good whodunit. That's me. That's a Southern thing for sure. So yeah, I definitely recommend this book. The next book I recommend is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. I do not plan on finishing the series because this just wasn't for me, but a lot of people on Book Talk really liked this book, so that's why I'm recommending it. It gave me the Pretty Little Liar vibes, honestly. Like the TV show, I haven't read the books, but the TV show, this gave me the vibes of Pretty Little Liars. So basically this girl was doing a school project and basically saying that, okay, so let me backtrack here, sorry. Basically in the beginning, there was this guy and this girl dating. They were like seniors or whatever, and they think he murdered her, or they say he murdered her, but this girl doesn't think that's what happened, and she basically dives in and was trying to prove that he didn't murder her, and she teams up with the guy's brother trying to figure out who had murdered this girl, because later his brother committed suicide, but it wasn't really suicide, so they teamed up because, yeah. And there's a big plot twist. I didn't think of this person who actually did it. It was okay for me, but they kept like leaving the main character like notes and stuff, like Pretty Little Liars, so that's why it reminded me of Pretty Little Liars. It just wasn't for me, so I just wasn't for me. If I'm doing murder mystery, I'd rather do the serial killer one than this one. It wasn't boring, but it wasn't keeping me on my toes, you know, I guess you can say. But a lot of people liked it. It's a cute little short read. I'll give you that. Like, it's a cute little short read. If you want to read this, I would read it during Halloween because it is a murder mystery. It has like, I don't want to say pictures, but it's like, I don't know, it's easy read. It's like an easy read too, so yes, read this. The next book I recommend is 13 Reasons Why by Jay Asher. This is an old book. I read this in middle school. I don't like the TV series. I cannot stress that enough. They had made it completely different from the book. I wish they would have just made a movie and then call it quits, because the TV show is just, I couldn't watch it after like 3 episodes because everything was so different to me in the TV show than in the book. But if you have not heard of the TV show or the book, basically, 13 Reasons Why is about Clay. This guy named Clay had received cassette tapes, 13 of them, and they were from Hannah Baker, the dead girl who committed suicide, and she basically leaves a note saying, hey, if you got these tapes, you're one of the reasons why I committed suicide. So, I mean, it was like a dark, twisted thing. Like, she went all out. Like, homegirl was like, and then was like, I blame you, and you. And he was the 13th person on the tape. So he had to listen to all of the tapes, and he couldn't for the life of him figure out why he was on those tapes, because he barely spoke to the girl. So, and then he also has to listen to the other people's tapes who was before him. And there were rules saying if you don't listen to these tapes, that they were somehow going to go to the police and this and that and the other. And I really, really enjoyed this book in middle school. It isn't like gruesome or anything like that, but there are a little bit of trigger warnings for this book, I'll say. Definitely recommend this for Halloween vibes. Yes, pick this up. Okay, the next book, well, this isn't a book, but the next one I have for you guys is The Crucible by Arthur Miller. I had to read this for high school, and I decided to buy it because I really, really, really enjoyed this. It's a play, and it's about Salem witch trials in 1600s in Massachusetts. Basically, this one girl was like, it's a he said, she said kind of thing. This one girl was like, oh my god, she's doing witchcraft. And then it just spreaded to the entire village. So yeah, I definitely recommend this for Halloween. But if you don't really read, it's a good little play to read for Halloween. So I definitely recommend this. The next book I have for you guys is Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie. And this is a classic. It was published in 1934. And this is about a murder on a train. And I did not expect the end, honestly. Okay, so murder on a train goes down, and there is a detective on the train, and his name is Hercule Poirot, and he's basically going through and asking questions and like investigating the crime, and that's the word. He interrogates everybody on the train, and at the very end he tells everybody what he's discovered, and he figures out who the murderer is. So yeah, big old plot twist at the end. If you've seen the movie, it is like the movie. I definitely recommend this book though, because it was so good. I was sitting there on my toes like, could the murderer be? And yeah, I did not expect the end. The movie is almost exactly like the book. There are a few changes, few here and there, but yeah, I definitely recommend this for Halloween because it's another murder mystery. I used to read a lot of murder mysteries in high school. I read this like after I got out of high school, like a year, maybe 2 years after I got out of high school. I don't know, but I definitely recommend this for spooky season. The next book I have for you guys is Crave by Tracy Wolff, and it is a vampire novel. I don't really like Twilight. Like, I've watched the movies, I haven't read the books. My mom loved Twilight. She read the books, and I would go with her to the movies, and we would all be screaming and hollering in the freaking theaters. So that was a fun time. But every time I look at this, I was like, that it has to be exactly like Twilight. But I was like, I should give it a chance, you know, and I absolutely loved it. So yeah, I definitely recommend this for like Halloween vibes. Well, to me, this was a cute, short little read, but if you don't read that much, it might take you a little while, but I was on my toes the entire time. This book is about a girl named Grace. Her parents had tragically passed away, and she ends up going to live with her cousin and her uncle, and her uncle runs a supernatural boarding school, and she has to go to school to this academy, and she meets this guy named Jackson, and he's a vampire, and she meets another guy, I forgot his name, and he ends up being a dragon. But before she knows all of this or finds all of this out, she keeps having freak accidents, and she figures out that somebody is trying to murder her. And after she figures out about all the supernatural and stuff like that, she has to figure out who is trying to murder her. And yeah, it was a really good read. It wasn't only like a little romance in it, but it was like who is trying to murder me. So I highly enjoyed this book, and I cannot wait to read the second book. I'm so excited. The next book I have for you guys is Serpent and Dove by Shelby Morn, and I highly enjoyed this series. I don't see this around a lot, but I really enjoyed it. I got it when it first came out. I was like excited to read this book when it first came out. So, and I wish the rest of the series, if you can't see, it's like right there. I wish it was paperback like the first book, but obviously it's not. So I'm keeping this one because it is a first edition. So anyways, let me get back on topic. The reason why I recommend this for a spooky read is because it's about a witch and a witch hunter. So basically in this book, this girl is a witch, and her mom is trying to use her in this like super ritual sacrifice kind of thing, and she runs off and takes off away from her mother, and she ends up getting in some serious trouble and ends up having to marry a witch hunter. Yep. So basically they get married, and she's trying to hide her magic from him, and they end up falling in love, and at the very end he discovers that she is a witch, and he has to choose between killing her or saving her life. So yeah, this book was so cute and good. I just recommend this. I honestly hope you pick this up and read it, because I can't tell you any more details without spoiling it. There's another book, that's why I was like, they fall in love, and you know, but she is on the run from her mother, and she figures out who her father ends up being, and yeah, you should definitely pick this up. The next book I have for you guys is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo, and I am hoping to go get a tattoo of maybe a small crow, but I really definitely want a saying from this book. They say it a lot. It's no mourners, no funerals, and yeah, I really love this book, this duology. Basically, in Six of Crows, there's actually a series before this. It's what's it called? I don't even know what Shadow and Bone. That's what it's called. A lot of people say you have to read that series before you read this to understand the Grisha world. I disagree. I caught on very fast about what this book was about because I heard really bad reviews about Shadow and Bone, the series. I don't know. I haven't picked it up. I don't know if I plan on reading it because of the series on Netflix. I kind of want to watch it. I kind of don't because I gotta read it first because I like to read and then watch whatever it is. But anyways, Six of Crows is basically about a group of people are hired to go on a heist to kidnap this one guy who's making like a drug for like the Grisha people, which are like, they have supernatural abilities. I don't want to say they're witches, but they kind of are witches to me. My opinion. Anyways, they get crossed over in the very end and one of them gets kidnapped. So that's why it leads to a second book. Anyways, I definitely recommend this book. It has all of the characters' point of views, and it's about a gang, like in the medieval times, basically. This is a pretty cool, wicked book. And yeah. The next book I have for you guys is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas, and I love this series. I mean, look at my little smile. Anyways, I definitely recommend this for Halloween vibes or whatever. It's basically a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and it is so good, and it is worth the hype. I'm telling you right now, it is definitely worth the hype. But basically, let me tell you about this book. I just love this book. I'm thinking about rereading it, honestly, but I gotta get through all the books I haven't read, so I might as well do that. But I kind of want to read this again. Basically, in the beginning, this girl named Farah, she's basically the provider of her household. She has two older sisters named Nesta and Elaine, and they just don't know how to hunt or anything like that. So she and her dad is like had a accident or whatever. Like he got into some trouble with a group of guys. Anyways, his fault. She basically goes out into the woods and was hunting for food for them, and she stumbles upon a wolf, or she thinks it's a wolf. Well, I'm not gonna say that because she knew it was a fae, and she ends up killing the fae and skins him and was like, we're gonna eat this, okay? So, but the fae's friend comes barging into their house in his little wolf form and was like, you either give me your life, like we'll kill you right here, right now, or you come live with me in Perithian. I think that's what it's called. I can't remember, but she's like, okay, fine. Like, she does not like faes whatsoever. Thinks lowly of them, and she goes and lives with him and is like, oh my god, he's gonna use me as a slave to do all his dirty work or this and that and the other. She's just thinking negatively, but she's gonna go live with him, and she ends up getting there and falling in love with him, and she ends up finding out that there's a curse on him, like in the very end. And she goes and breaks the curse for him, hence why there's a series. But I really, really, really enjoyed this book. A lot of people out there on Book Talk and Bookstagram and BookTube enjoyed this book, and I recommend this book for Halloween and just in general. If you have not read this book, go pick it up right now. Like, I'm not kidding, right now. The last book I have for you guys is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. And I loved this book, and I definitely recommend this book. I feel like it's going to be a classic in the near future. In the beginning, it's kind of giving me Crucible vibes, because this girl was told to not pray to the gods at night, and she ends up getting forced into an arranged marriage, and the night of the wedding she runs off and goes to the woods and accidentally prays to the gods at night. So this god at night that answered was like, okay, I'll do what you want as long as I have your soul or whatever. And he grants her eternal life, but the catch is that every time somebody looks away from her or turns away from her or closes the door, they end up forgetting her name and who she was. And yeah, so her parents forget about her. A lot of people forget about her. And in the future, because this happened in like the, I want to say late 1800s, I think. Don't quote me on that. I'm not good with dates. But fast forward in time, it's like 2014, and she meets this guy at a bookstore after stealing a book, and she tries to return it. And he's like, I remember you. And she's like, what? Like, who? Why would you remember me? This and that and the other. They end up falling in love, and there's a plot twist at the end. I'm not gonna lie, the end of the book made me tear up. I didn't like full on cry, but I did trinkle a little bit, not gonna lie. But it was just such a cute read. Like, I highly recommend this book. It's like devil makes a bargain with a girl, and that's why I recommend this book for Halloween. It was just so good. And she does a brilliant job writing, like, back in time, because it jumps a lot, I'm not gonna lie. It jumps from like the 1800s, the 1700s to 2014, 2015, and so on and so forth. And she just does a beautiful job of just describing everything. Like, I will admit, it's kind of a slow build up, but I gave it a pass because it's like she did such a good job just creating an image. A lot of people said that they just didn't like how slow it was. I did, because I really liked how she described everything, what was going on, how her hair felt, this and that and the other. Like, you could like just be there, like smell everything, taste everything, everything like that. Like, she did such a good job writing it. And yeah, I just highly recommend this book for Halloween. So that was all the books I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like, subscribe, comment, and I'll just see you in the next video.